What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's been really moving it and what's been coming out from the company and where I see things going from here. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound pre-market is up 3.73%, a fair amount of volume, so goes to show that it is still on big money's radar, and you can kind of see just over the last several trading days that's been the case. So already this morning you are seeing 3 transactions on the secondary market above $100,000. Even yesterday, a lot of transactions, and this is exactly what I like to see. Even though it's very volatile, it still shows that it is on big money's radar. That's more important than absolutely anything. No actual data points coming out today from the States, so it is going to be more of a technical driven day. Plus, I think the whole 25 basis point cut for coming out December 18th is getting priced into the market. So this is why you are seeing futures very good and moving higher, and SoundHound's kind of piggybacking off of that. The news that they did put out yesterday, it caused a hell of a lot of volatility, but I think in general it shows and reconfirms what SoundHound is going to be doing bigger picture. Is this a reason to go out and buy SoundHound because of this news? Not so much, I'd say, rather than the previous couple PRs, but still it just reconfirms what SoundHound is going to be doing. Shorts surprisingly did return some shares yesterday. My apologies on not doing a SoundHound video yesterday, but going into today, 24.67% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 81.02 million shares. Yesterday, 47% of all the options being done were optimistic in nature, and ultimately, as you can kind of see, there is still a strong consensus for it to be above $16, so a hell of a lot of optimism. Volatility is low on SoundHound, so essentially if you do and you are bullish on it, then you can always buy calls, very cheap to do so. But with today being Friday, this is the current open interest. So shorts usually do like to manipulate it. Short / market makers like to manipulate it below these strike prices. That way they don't have to cover any of those, right? They'd rather it expire worthless. So you have 7,000 at the $14 strike price, 3,000 at $14.50, 9,000 at the 15, and so forth and so forth. So essentially, by the close of business day today, close to that, so during power hour, if SoundHound is flirting with that, let's say $14 range or $14.50, you might see shorts get a little bit more active to try to suppress it. So again, something to kind of keep in mind, but big money really paying attention to it is definitely a very good thing. Aside from that though, its technicals are looking very good, and it's been kind of following it to a T. So this pivot point right here of $12.89 has been somewhat the saving grace over the last 2 days. And right now with it at $14.10 pre-market, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So $15.39 is going to be that next strong target for SoundHound. And then $12.89 is going to be the next strong support and continued support. So SoundHound, it did consolidate over the last little bit, and nothing wrong with that at all. I think that really did reset a lot of the technicals, and that's honestly amazing. So today, how it stands, it is fighting for its life to stay above that ALMA. So if it is able to close that, then you will see a most likely a secondary push higher, but of course anything could happen. But honestly, I really like SoundHound based on what they're doing, and their balance sheet is fairly good. Of course, profitability will be coming sooner rather than later, but until that does come, you're going to see the market trying to find what the fair value for it is. And as I've stated, I feel realistically, based on everything, it should be roughly around that $15 range. If they didn't put out any news, then I would say roughly around 11. But needless to say, just because obviously I've previously stated like 19 and whatever else, that is just FOMO. FOMO's kicking in. Options is still very optimistic. So like I said, going back over here, looking at the volume, you still do see a large consensus for it to be above that $17 range. Previously it was 19, but I think once just SoundHound does and is able to get above this point right here of 15.39, you'll see that optimism for it to be above like 18, 19, 20 once again. So Of course, all of this is just short-term noise. Just if you believe in a bigger picture, kind of disregard a lot of that. But let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. What are you looking for in the short term? Are you looking for specific targets to kind of hit? And what's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Then one final thing, I did launch a Patreon roughly around 3 weeks ago. SoundHound was one of my buy signals, and I do many others, including most recently Broadcom. So they just hit a home run. So definitely pop over to my Patreon if you haven't already and take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.